Hey guys, welcome back to my kitchen. I don't know if you've noticed, but I am in a new kitchen because I've moved. It is the holidays coming up soon, so I thought I would do just like a cookie video. I'm gonna do those, I'm sure you've seen them on Instagram or floating around social media. They're like those Neapolitan cookies where it's three flavors of cookie that are kind of smashed together and they look really cool. But I'm going to do a little Christmas twist. So I should say that this recipe is inspired by, first of all, Sarah Keiffer, who has the 100 Cookies cookbook, which is amazing. But there's a lot of other bloggers and things like that, like the Vanilla Bean blog, I think is where I kind of got this recipe from. But like I said, I'm doing like a Christmas twist. So instead of doing a chocolate, a vanilla, and a strawberry flavor, I'm going to do a pistachio, an almond, and a cherry. So it's going to be a green, pink, and white. So it's going to look kind of like Spumoni. It's going to be very like Christmas friendly. So that sort of thing. Really, ultimately, we're making one like sugar cookie base. You divide it into three, and then you flavor them individually. So I'm sticking with the same sort of recipe. However, instead of doing strawberry flavoring and dehydrated strawberry, I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be using some dehydrated raspberries and some dried cherries to make the cherry component, and then for the pistachio, I've just got some chopped up pistachios here. I'm going to put all of the ingredient amounts in the box below, so no worries. I'm actually doing like 1.5 times because I'm making these to send out for the holidays. But it's, like I said, it's a very simple sugar cookie recipe. It starts off with 3 sticks of butter. I've got, I think it's 3 3/4 cup of flour. I've got 2 2/3 cup of sugar, I believe. 4 eggs. We're going to be using these 2 whole eggs and then the yolks of the 2 eggs here. I've got some salt and some baking powder. I've got 3 teaspoons of flavoring, and I've split it between using some vanilla bean paste at the bottom and some almond extract. And then some of these other ones, like the pistachios, since I'm kind of doing it my own, I don't know how much to do. I would say probably about a cup of chopped pistachios here. And then I've also got a little bit of green and a little bit of red food coloring. The dehydrated raspberry powder should give it a little light pink hue, but I do want it to be pretty colored, so I'm going to go ahead and add in a little red. So, oh, this is really good. So let me talk a little bit about the dehydrated raspberries. So make sure if you do this, you get dehydrated or freeze-dried fruit, either strawberries or raspberries or whatever. Don't just get the dried kind, so like this. What you do is you take the freeze-dried fruit and you grind it up and you pulverize it until it's like a really fine powder. It's this really pretty pink color. So that's what I have right here. And then from here, I'm just going to basically make my sugar cookies. And then what you do is you'll divide it into the 3, and then you kind of portion it out, and you make the little cookie balls, and then you refrigerate them, and then we bake them. All right, so that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to switch to my overhead view, and then I'm just going to make my sugar cookie base, my bases, and then I'm going to divide it up, and then we will check back in a bit. All right, I will see you in a little bit. Okay guys, so here I've got 3 sticks of butter in my mixer, so I'm just going to go ahead and cream this up. I'm going to go ahead and add in my sugar next. So it's all going to go in. We're going to cream these 2 together. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add in my eggs. It actually calls for 1.5 eggs since I'm doing 1.5 times. However, I'm just going to kind of round up to 2. Same thing with the yolks. So it might be a little richer, maybe a little thinner than it's supposed to be. So I might have to compensate with a little extra flour. And then I'm also going to add in my flavorings, which is the almond, and I'm using vanilla bean paste here. So that's it for my wet ingredients. I'm going to go ahead and add in my dry ingredients kind of in thirds, and I'll stir it very slowly just until it's combined. So for my dry ingredients, I combine the flour with the salt and the baking powder, so that is all in here, and we're going to do this in 3 additions. Alright, so combined, mixed together just until combined. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dump it out onto my counter, and then I'm going to finish the combining of all the ingredients, and then I'm going to divide it into thirds. Alright, so let me just reset. See you guys back in just a second. Alright, I got my mixer out of the way. I put just a little bit of flour down here. I'm going to go ahead and take my dough out. It's pretty crumbly, but I'm going to kind of work through it with my fingers and my hands, so I think it'll kind of come together. Go. My scale. So almost 60 ounces. So just a little under 20 ounces per third. Perfect. All right. So there's our thirds. One of these is going to just be plain white. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this guy up and then put him in the fridge just real quick. I don't want it to harden up too much, but I just want it to not melt. Okay. So now the next step is I'm going to take one of these guys. We're going to add the strawberry powder to it as well as these dried cherries. So we're going to mix that up. And then this other one we're going to mix with just the green food coloring to make it green. All right, so I think we'll probably do, the cherry one first. I got a little bit of the white dough in here, but that's okay. It's going to create like a little bit of a marbling effect, and that's okay because that's what's going to happen to it all anyway. So there's my cherry / raspberry. Put this into the fridge. My last one is going to be this one that we're going to just kind of dye green. Very like light, faint sort of green. I don't want it to be like Grinch green or anything like that. So there we go. I'm gonna wrap this guy up. Got a cherry in there. All right, I'm just gonna clean this stuff up, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna start forming our little cookies. Okay, so for the next part, I'm gonna work kind of quickly. I'm gonna take each block and I'm gonna divide them into 40 little portions. So this will make 40 cookies. And I have to work kind of quickly because I don't want the dough to melt on me. Just kind of roughly do this. I want these to be about ½ an ounce each. Just gonna kind of measure a little bit less. Right. So here are our 40 times 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll, 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 squish, and shape. So now that they're all formed, I'm going to dip them in the pistachios. All right, I'm going to cover these with some plastic wrap. I'm going to put them in the fridge overnight, and then I'll bake them off tomorrow. I'm going to kind of reshape them a little bit because they got a little smushed in this process. And then we will see the finished product. Okay, so I've pulled the dough out of the fridge so they're nice and cool. I did let them sit on the counter for just a couple minutes so they weren't super ice cold, so they softened just a little bit. I'm going to put them in a preheated 350-degree oven for about 12 to 15 minutes. What we want to see is just some nice light, crispy around the outside, but still maybe a little bit wobbly around the middle because it's going to kind of solidify as it goes in. So this is going to be hour before. Pop them in the oven, and I'll show you them when they're done. All right, you guys, so here is the finished product. Nice and soft. So I put them in for about, it ended up being maybe about 13 minutes. I wanted them to be lightly sort of crisp around the sides, but still kind of soft in the middle. So here they are. Let's go in for a close-up. You can see the nice distinct layers. The pistachios held on really nicely. They're all slightly different. That's what I like about these is if your individual flavors of dough are a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, that's okay because they end up looking really nice. All right, so there is my tricolor Christmas cookie. I hope you guys enjoy. Please give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time.